everyone, welcome back. And before we get into today's video, I have to give a shout out to F Custom. Now you might be looking at this hoodie going like, dang, that's a really nice hoodie. And I have to say, I got it custom made at F Custom. On their website, you can get custom made hoodies, baseball jerseys, basketball jerseys, football jerseys. It looks good as all get out. Look at that. And you can custom make your own hoodie or jersey if you use the link in the description of this video. And at checkout, you can use the discount code ANGELCAKE to get 10% off, and you'll be helping out the channel. Thank you so much to F Custom, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Now, let's get to today's Tiny Table Talk. Now, in this week's episode, we got to see an elimination between Darrell and Cory in Snapping Point. And can I just say that I am a bit disappointed in this elimination. I thought this is going to be like Looper in Free Agents. It was set up like Looper. You had to be tethered together, you're going through the poles, you're running for a button, and you're trying to get there first, and you think that there is going to be some form of tug of war. And I thought this was gonna kind of be like Wes versus Devin even, where they were just like holding into the ground, and I don't know what was going on. TJ said that this rope was like triple tension, but there was no tension whatsoever. I don't know if they weren't actually tethered together, if it was too much rope, but I mean, came down to a foot race, and Cory was able to win this rather easily. And I get it, Cory's a little bit younger and he does a lot of those sprints and a lot of football drills. He was a football player, and Darrell is just a little bit slow off the gun. Also, in his final words, Darrell talked about how he was worried about getting caught up on the rope because it was coming out of the ground as you were running. So he was also looking at the rope to make sure he didn't get tripped up by it. I don't know, after getting this far into the game, I thought this elimination was going to be closer than what it was. And I thought with it having both Darrell and Cory in this elimination, I thought that it was going to be like a really big brawl to the end. A real, like, people having to dig in their heels. The competitors having to just, like, give all they were, when all of it came down to was who was quicker. And like they said, speed kills. I mean, speed killed Darrell's game in the end and in the long run. So to me, after watching this whole season and rooting for Darrell and really trying to hope that he makes it to the finals, for him to go out on elimination like this just seems so anticlimactic. Now, at the very end of this episode, once the elimination was over, once everyone was in their new pairings, that's when TJ said that nobody was in the finals and they are far from it. What are you talking about, TJ? We're 14 episodes in. I heard there was 18 to 19 episodes this season. That means we're kind of close. So last season, we had 9 people make it into the finals, where there was an elimination in the middle of the finals to get 2 people out, and then one other person, Bailey, was withdrawn from the game because of a medical injury, to where there was 6 people left, 2 women and 4 men. I wonder, because when I heard there was 10 skulls up for grabs, I felt like that was a lot of people to bring into the finals. So my thought process is that we are going to get another elimination next week so that Big T will have a shot at getting her gold skull. And we saw from the sneak peek that it is them jumping out of an airplane. We have one more daily challenge that I can remember off the top of my brain from the super trailer, and that was them in those big metal balls rolling around over those geysers. I think that we're going to either get a purge challenge. One of the teams in that ball will get eliminated right on the spot to get us down to 8 skulls, 4 men and 4 women, or we're gonna get another daily challenge and a double elimination. Maybe we'll have both. Maybe they're going to get rid of somebody at the daily challenge and have a double elimination, or have 2 more eliminations, and then we're gonna have 6 people left. Maybe they're gonna go old school and have 3 men and 3 women run the finals. If it's gonna be an individually run final, I think 6 people is a really good amount of people to run the final. If you have 10 to 8 people in total and it's gonna be solo, that's too many in my opinion. Unless there is going to be stages where people are going to be eliminated, but I think that they are going to eliminate a couple of more people, and then we're going to get to it. But I mean, come on, TJ, we're not far from it. We're 14 episodes in, but I just thought it was the way he worded it was very interesting, and I could see the frustrations or hear the frustrations from everyone, especially Leroy at the end, who was like, I made it to the final. Like, don't be joshing us, TJ. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. But that's what's going on through my head when I'm also thinking of what TJ could mean by we are far from it. Either way, we're not very far, but we could be far. It could be like that William Shakespeare quote where it's like, so close yet so far away. Is that British? This week, the Challenge All-Stars cast, trailer, and cast photos have all been released. And April 1st is when the Challenge All-Stars is gonna drop on Paramount+. I've had some days to think about it, go over the trailer a couple of more times, and I thought it would be fun to talk about my top 5 men and top 5 women that I think are gonna do well coming into this season, taking into account their challenge legacy. So I think somebody that have been on the challenge more recently will do well in this kind of format. And also taking account of how many times they are seen in the trailer, because normally that's a good indication of how far they'll go in the actual game. So let's talk about the men first, and the first competitor is Darrell. He has been on the most recent season of the challenge, season 36. He made it very, very far in that game, and he did well in the daily challenges. He held his own in eliminations, and he's in the best shape of his life. And I think coming into this game, he has a great shot of going far. Someone else that I think is going to do really, really well is Darrell. He's well connected within the challenge community. He was a mercenary on Vendettas where he went 15 rounds with Joss and won. Alton is always in top physical condition. He's always ready to win, and he's always ready to compete. Mark Long has biceps as big as my head. I think it would be a Titan versus Titan battle if he went up against like Darrell or Alton. My number 5 guy, I think, would have to be Nehemiah. He is one of the youngest competitors on the season. I think he's the youngest man competitor on the season. He is fantastic. He's in some fantastic shape. I think he's going to be a huge asset in daily challenges, and I think he's going to do really well in eliminations. Let's go over to the women, and I think Anissa has a really good shot. She has been on the past 2 seasons of the challenge, going very far. She's in the trailer a ton, so I think she can actually go very, very far into the game. I also think Ruthie is in fantastic shape. I think she is in the trailer a ton. I think she can do really well in daily challenges and eliminations. Kellyanne is another competitor that was on a very recent season of the challenge, being on Rivals 3. I think she is in tip-top shape. She's also one of the younger competitors on the Challenge All-Stars cast list, and I think she could do well. Another competitor that I think is going to do well or go far in this season is Hizela. She is in the trailer a ton, and to me, that just screams that she's going to make it far into the season. I think she also stacks up well against any of the women competitors in an elimination if she was put into the elimination with them. And my final pick, I would have to say, I'm going to cheat a little bit and say Katie or Janae. I am rooting for both of them, and I think both of them could do really, really well in this season and go very far into the season. Those are my top 5 competitors of the men and women. I have a top 6 on there, but what do you think about my top 5 men and women? Let me know that in the comment section below. Also, who are your top 5 or who are your top competitors in your opinion when looking at the Challenge All-Star cast list? All right, let's get to some comments from my Thursday's review and recap video. And the first comment comes from Charles Warren Online, who says, "You stole my best skull, bro." He's alluding to our fantasy draft from Kiss My Cheeks TV, where I had Cory and he had Darrell, and I was able to snake one of the gold skulls where Cory was able to win. The next comment comes from Pest Control, who says, "Looks like all those football and sprinting drills Cory did in Total Madness that ruined the turf in the bunker paid off." Yes. Oh man. Who could not forget about the sausage fight and the fight about the turf? Oh man, I remember that. Yeah, this all worked out for Cory in the end, both in Total Madness and here on Double Agents. The next comment comes from Tyrek or Tyreek, who says, "It literally took Fessy kicking Nany in the face for her to realize she made the wrong decision." Oh man, that kick must have hurt. But it just goes to show you that Fessy is totally looking out for himself, and he wasn't even caring where Nany was. He was just like, I'm gone. The next comment comes from Gloria, who says, the conversation between Darrell and Leroy is the example of how experienced challengers speak and play the game. There comes a time when your number one is no longer becomes your number one, and they both understood that. It's getting down to what Nelson would say, the needy greedy, and they know that they're gonna have to make some difficult decisions. And yeah, you're working together all throughout this game. You are friends outside the game, but at a certain point, you gotta play the game to save yourself and do what's best in your own interest. And that's what Leroy did. Darrell understood that and was like, yeah, but when I'm coming in, I'm doing what's best for my game and taking your partner. I loved it. It was one of my favorite parts of the episode. And the next comment comes from Karen, who says, I think this episode showed how complex partnerships can be. Fessy showed this episode why it doesn't take just strength to be a good partner. He only looks out for himself, and he has no regard for his partners. Also, Cam and CT are too alike to work together peacefully long term, and Nany didn't appreciate Kyle. He is strong, and his personality helps team morale. 100%. I mean, you hit the nail on the head in this comment of across the board. And ultimately, I'm happy that Big T and CT are back together, and I do think that Cory and Cam would work better together, and it's going to work out for everybody in the long run that they just split apart from each other. Nany needs to get away from Fessy, though. The next comment comes from Ansel, who says, was really sad to see Darrell go, one of the best, if not the best OG out there. Can't wait to see him in All-Stars next season. Exactly. And it starts April 1st, Paramount Plus. I'm excited, and I'm going to be rooting for him just like I was rooting for him in this season. I think he has a great shot. Omega Man X says Big CT are back together again. All is right in the challenge world. I love it. And I loved how CT left it up for Big T and asked her if she would be willing to do this thing again, and Big T just couldn't help but smile, and they hugged and said, I missed you to each other. It was such a heartfelt moment. It was amazing. Leticia says, kind of scared for Cam because of the Cory curse, but I think it stops with her since she has so much pull in the game. I don't think they'll be coming for that team, especially with Cory having his skull now. 100%, and I found it interesting when Cam was talking in the confessional saying that I'm just gonna run out the rest of the game with Cory. Like, you don't think you're gonna get stolen, or she definitely doesn't feel like she's gonna get thrown in again. So it sounds to me like she's ready to go all the way with Cory as well. I just thought it was interesting wording. The next comment comes from Righteous Roses, who says, did anyone feel like there were more commercials during this episode? I had to admit that I was doubting Anissa, but she proved me wrong. I really didn't want Darrell to go, but I'm glad to see him on Paramount. Every episode, I feel like there's more and more commercials, and I thought this episode was a little bit choppy, especially after the daily challenge. And yeah, Anissa was proving everybody wrong. Everybody was like ready to just throw in Anissa and Kyle like that, but they turned everybody's heads when they won this week's daily challenge, and I'm happy for them. And the final comment comes from Silver Surfer, who says, it's really interesting how Kyle is the one male that seems to work well with every female he's been partnered with. Cam, Nany, and Anissa, and how both Cam and Nany said that they actually missed him when they were partnered with someone stronger, quote unquote stronger. Like Kyle said, he is a very big supportive role, and he's also has a lot of endurance, so he is a good competitor, a good teammate, and I think it just shows that he's on multiple partnerships and duos, and people love him, and people want to work with him, and he's been able to win daily challenges with Cam and now Anissa. And hearing Nany say it in the party scene that she was like, dang, I really miss Kyle. I don't care if Fessy is here and he's the best physical competitor or he's the best political positioned in the game. I just want Kyle back, and I'm losing sleep over it. I love it. And especially when in that scene, Fessy's like trying to pump her up like, we have a chance, we have a shot, we can win this thing. And she's just like, yeah, Or in her mind is the confessional where she's like, I miss you, Kyle. Please, I want to be with Kyle again. I just thought that was really, really funny. But that is it for Tiny Table Talk for this episode. What'd you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really, really soon with more Challenge 36 Double Agent content, more challenge content, more content in general. But until then, peace.